What a time to be an LSU fan. Will Wade, Lane Kiffin. It's insane right now when it comes to LSU. And Will Wade is the villain of college basketball, but is that right? Or is there a double standard in Baton Rouge and around the country? All that and more on a new episode of College Sports Insiders. This is College Sports Insiders. My name is Mountaineer Paul, and you can find us here where we're doing your daily football and basketball conversations 7 days a week. Let's go. Welcome to the show. What is up, guys? Welcome back in. My name is Mountaineer Paul. I am your co-host alongside Jackson Johnson. Welcome to College Sports Insiders. We're getting it started again. Well, we're talking a little bit about LSU today. I thought it would be a fun topic to jump back in on as it's prevalent, obviously, to what's going around the country right now. And I got to be honest, man, right now when it comes to LSU, it's interesting in many, many ways. I think that most people are looking at what Will Wade has going on right now and the situation with the international players, the whole thing. I understand it. I understand why people are upset. And college sports is entering its most chaotic era ever. But the rest of the country is still arguing over NIL, transfer portals, eligibility lawsuits, the whole thing. And 2 men at the very center of it, Will Wade, definitely Lane Kiffin, the other. There's a lot to get to, and we have a special guest, Jackson. I'll let you introduce.
He is the host of LSU Tigers Live Sunday nights on LSU at the Voice of College Football, and he's the LSU beat writer for Last Word on College Football, the one and only himself, Lewis Johnson. How you doing today, good
Unmute
buddy?
yourself, sir.
What's up, fellas? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you don't mind, I'll get this thing kicked off really quick here. How's the best way to put this? The basketball side of this is right now, Will Wade is doing something the entire basketball establishment is in panic mode over, because he's I don't want to say exploiting, but he's doing something that I think a lot of people are upset over, and it's not like something the Blue Bloods haven't been quietly doing for years anyway. LSU is beating people at their own game. Is that fair to say, Lewis? And there's outrage there because people think it's illegal, but not because it breaks NCAA rules, as far as I can tell. It's just so much. It seems like the noise is so loud with this that people can't come back down to earth for a second and say, yes, there are some older guys absolutely here, but this is within the rules. Like, none of these guys are NCAA. Like, they're not, like, they're available to play, except for RJ Lewis would be the only person that I think most people would argue shouldn't be able to play, right?
Right. As you said, it's completely overblown what he's doing right now. I think there are a lot of reasons for that. One, Will Wade, he's got a long history of kind of pushing the envelope. We understand that whatever rules or guidelines you got in place, he's going to push it as far as he can go to get talent. The dude gets talent wherever he goes. Whether he's playing by the rules or not, I mean, it's not his job to regulate the sport. It's his job to win. So I think you got his past that kind of plays into that. And you also have the fact that, like you said, a lot of the programs that are doing that right now are programs that you're used to seeing having elite talent and pushing the rules and straight up breaking the rules. The Kentuckys and the Kansases of the world, you're used to seeing these guys with primetime talent recruiting like on an international level. So you're not used to seeing LSU do that. And we are just also in the day and age of people overreacting and judging. Like, it's fun to point the finger at LSU right now. It's popular. You can point the finger at Wade. You can point it at Kiffin. LSU is kind of the program that is most popular to hate right now. And you know how the internet is. Once a couple people jump in, it's just a lot of other people falling in behind them with the jokes.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, and you pointed it out, it's a kind of a wolf packing behavior, right? And you look at, some of the guys that some of these international players that are out there that have been kind of brought in, right? It's just, to me, it's like everybody's acting like they're so horrified over this. But if you look at a guy like Alex Condon at Florida, he played professionally in Australia. Ivicic at Illinois played professionally in Croatia and Montenegro. Dame Sarr at Duke played with SC Barcelona. Oscar Clough at Purdue is 24 years old. He's a pro. Henry Vassar from North Carolina is an Estonian pro. Like, I could go on and on and on. Why is it only Will Wade and LSU that are being called out?
Well, Paul, with you rattling off those names like that, I kind of wish I'd have talked to you before I did my show yesterday, because I spoke on the same thing. You got a kid, international kid that decommitted from Arkansas last week. You got A&M recruiting one for their 2026 class. It's nothing that's not going on everywhere. And as far as why LSU is looked at as the culprit or the program that's destroying the sport, I think it just goes back to what I just said. I hate to sound redundant, but it's just it's convenient. It's easy to point the finger at Will Wade and say, "Hey, look, there's the bad guy." But for whatever reason, even the national outlets, even the big outlets, like, it's one thing to see internet guy Joe pointing the finger at Will Wade, but even the ESPNs of the world, the athletics of the world, they don't report the same when it comes to some of these blue blood programs as they do when it comes to LSU. Dick Vitale, love the guy, but Dick Vitale has had it out for LSU for years because they're not allowed to cheat, even if you want to call it cheating. The way I look at it is, look, if one of these guys or several of these guys can't get a waiver, then no big deal. Wade just have to reassess his approach and come back in a different way. But you're not cheating if you're allowed to do it.
Yeah. One last point, Jackson, before I let you take off on something here. A question for like, you look at North Carolina, they wanted Niang, right? Kentucky wanted Marquio Santos, and LSU's winning those battles, right? Like, I think that's another thing here is the power structure's in jeopardy. Like, people think that's kind of one of my biggest takeaways. Will Wade's basically just winning these battles, and with older players, the contracts, the NIL. It's interesting the way that they're going about it. And the reaction has been crazy. I mean, you look at Jeff Goodman, who went on and said, I love Will Wade, but he's bad for the sport. And I mean, it's obviously, West Virginia had Nelson Hernandez a couple years ago as their GM, and he was there with Will Wade when all that happened to him. And I've had conversations with him about that situation and what went down, and they were cheating, obviously, then. But it wasn't something that wasn't being done other places, too. They just got caught. Not saying it was right. So, but I do think that because of that situation, that's the biggest reason that this is, I think, so loud and around him, So, to me, it's just one of those things. It's a double standard. Not everybody can play by the same rules. And even though LSU is, in my opinion, a blue blood in most things, obviously basketball, if this was in football, probably not as big a problem, really, to be honest, because it's Will Wade. It's just a whole different thing. Jackson, what have you got?
Well, and I think like the reason why you've seen like a lot of people get too hard on Will Wade was the fact that he left North Carolina State after 1 year. Whereas like, I think if it was after 4 years, you wouldn't see the Sharks looking for the blood in the water, so to speak. But I think, honestly, this is a move that works out for both parties, for North Carolina State and LSU. And I think, a few years due time, you're not going to see people getting as mad at Will Wade anymore because, he got in trouble the first stint for basically, did what's okay to do. It's like people acted a little too hard on Will Wade, but he can definitely create a contender for LSU in the years to come.
Lewis, so what has been your reaction to all this since this is, I mean, I was joking with somebody there the other day. I wish I had an LSU show, kind of. I mean, all the different topics you guys have to talk about, it's insane. What's this whirlwind? Everything since I mean, might as well say since the Brian Kelly firing it's been the hotbed of college sports. Nobody's a close second, right? Obviously, the way that happened with the governor getting involved and everything. I saw several LSU shows grow several thousand subscribers during that point in time. I mean, everybody was cooking off of that.
Yeah, that's a great point, Paul. So I was conflicted, to be honest. As a guy who's followed LSU closely for a long time, part of me is thinking, man, LSU needs to stay out of the news cycle. Like,
yeah,
every day you hear something that's negative and it's making the whole state look bad. Now the governor's involved. It's like,
yeah,
man, we all look like a bunch of water boy stand-ins, you know. So, but on the other, exactly. On the other hand, as you just referenced, it's great for business. You know, you always have something to talk about. There was once a saying where they said, all publicity is good publicity. And to be honest, when it comes to ratings and clicks and views, it really is. It gives you a lot to talk about. When BK got fired, I had the most viewers of any live show I had last fall. So controversy sells, man, and not all of it is bad too. You know,
no,
you got a lot of people who didn't like the way Kiffin left, who didn't like the way Will Wade left, but you also had some, more level-headed people who were like, man, it's a damn good hire. You got one of the best offensive minds in the sport.
Yeah, right.
So, you had two sides to that coin, but all in all, I would rather have stuff going on and for it to be a lot of interest surrounding the program than for it to be dull and nobody cares and apathetic.
1,000%. Jackson, you got anything else?
Not on Will Wade at the moment, but definitely
Jackson, let's go ahead and we'll get to this next segment really quick. Right after this quick break, guys, let's talk a little bit at Orgeron, who has finally returned. We'll let Jackson lead the segment right after the break. All right, Jackson.
Oh man, we're in segment 2 as we crack a dew, but we got
segment 2 crack a dew.
So this dew is for you, Lewis. Thank you for coming on the College Sports Insiders to discuss the LSU Tigers. Good buddy, we appreciate it very much.
No problem. I appreciate you having me.
Oh, anytime, man. You're one of the many go-tos for LSU athletics. But now, the topic at hand about Ed Orgeron coming back to Baton Rouge. I got to tell you, this time he's reunited with Lane Kiffin. And I think he took $100,000 salary just to come back to LSU. So it's like he loves the place. He doesn't care how much it costs. He doesn't care about the salary. He just loves LSU. Like, he's happy to be there. And he's reunited with Lane Kiffin, just coming back to the days of USC from the Pete Carroll era and in the Lane Kiffin era and that one Tennessee year at 2009, I think. I was wondering why it didn't happen at Ole Miss, but then now it's at Baton Rouge. Because, honestly, it sounds pretty fun that we're seeing Ed O back in Baton Rouge. Will we be seeing some press conferences magic from Ed O? And oh yeah, and the recruiting, it's gonna be amazing.
Oh, absolutely, Jackson. So my first reaction to that announcement was like, okay, it was just a matter of time. Like you just said, we know Lane Kiffin's history with Ed O and how much he trusts him. I mean, when he came back to be a head coach at USC, he brought Ed O back with him, and he ended up leading to Ed O getting that opportunity at USC. But not to get too far off track, it's a match made in heaven. You got a defensive guy, very skilled defensive line coach, with an offensive guy. But to what you were saying to your point about the contract, man, Ed O really wanted to come back to LSU, right? Like, who has ever gotten fired from a place and was willing to come back basically for free? I mean, $100,000 is not free to me, but
Go Tigers!
A multi-millionaire, yeah, that's some true Go Tigers in your blood. When you're coming back for, literally a fraction of what you work for, and to be, way lower on the totem pole. But I think it was a very smart move by Kiffin. I'm not sure what took so long. Maybe it was trying to figure out the money deal or how much he was going to have free to allocate towards that contract. But obviously he's going to help in recruiting. Like nobody knows Louisiana like Ed O, and you lost a great recruiter in Frank Wilson, the running backs coach who went to Ole Miss. So you gain Ed O, so they kind of offsets that loss. And also you got another D-line coach. Even though you got Sterling Lucas in place, like you can never have too much knowledge on one staff, especially if everybody understands their place on the staff. So I think it was a home run, especially for the value that it was.
Yeah, I think Ed Orgeron, obviously still one of the most iconic figures LSU football has ever had. And now he's back, and not as a head coach, obviously, but he's not running the program or anything, which was probably for the best. Maybe he wasn't the best head coach. Certainly had his moments. But I think, he's a guy that, especially inside LSU's football facility and around the state, is a guy known for it to be a great defensive assistant, and a guy that just means a lot to people. And, some people you can call it a nostalgia hire if you want. I understand that. I got hit with that when Rich Rod got hired. Like I had to defend that a lot. Nostalgia can be a powerful drug, and it can cause you to do things that aren't great for the football program and things. I'm not saying Edo's bad for LSU. So, because some people are going to see the story and think LSU is just trying to bring back those memories, but I think it's more strategic than that. In this era of college football, relationships matter more than ever. And the modern recruiting has become negotiations with NIL, transfer portal relationships back and forth, like personality-driven recruiting. And you have to have relationships with people, with donors specifically, which Edo probably has a lot of that. Player retention is going to be important. Edo can talk anybody. He can sell, ice to an Eskimo, right? He's got family trust with families around the state already. He's been in people's front doors many, many times and won a lot of recruiting battles. I think personally, this era of football, had he been the head coach during the portal era, this is the exact type of environment that Coach O thrives in. Do you think this could lead to him potentially get another head coaching job before his career is over? Is he too old?
No, I don't think he's too old. I think this is probably why he's taking that pay cut to come back and coach.
He understands what this rub can mean for him, right?
Absolutely.
Sorry.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah, no problem. But, yeah, and I don't want to say too much before I get off to the point you made. That was an excellent point you made about the relationships with the donors. Like, everybody knows that Edo can recruit. And he was, immediately making calls as soon as he got the hire. This weekend, it was FaceTime with kids. A lot of recruits were talking about how excited they were to have him back at LSU. But all the big money guys who Kiffin needs to kind of build and sustain relationships with right now, Edo knows him. Like he's been there. He's done that. And I kind of think that, or I would like to think that some of these guys are going to look at him a little differently now that he's not the head guy. That's also a great point. He's not the head coach. He's not running the program. So in the role that he's serving, first of all, he can put more energy and time towards recruiting, but also he's not coming as the head coach. You don't have to trust him with the program. I'm not saying that you can't, but you don't have to. And what better place to come back and kind of build trust back than at LSU, where it appears to be on an upward trajectory right now. You had an excellent class come in, one of the best transfer classes ever, to be honest. And you got an offensive mind that you trust to kind of do more with, to be honest, better athletes. This is no slight towards Ole Miss, but they don't recruit at the same level as LSU. So you would think that LSU is on an upward trajectory. And this could be kind of like the same situation that Kiffin went into when he went to Alabama. It's like, okay, so I'm not the head guy, but I can go over here. I can succeed in my role for a while. Everybody can kind of forget about the past, and I go on to the next big thing.
Yeah, real quick, Jackson, before I let you go again. I mean, when you look at this LSU class, Lewis, it is insane. Insane. Sam Levitt's the headliner, but he's probably not the best player, and that's saying something. Obviously, Jordan Seaton may be the best player. It's hard to say. Coming in from Colorado, a former five-star recruit. He's bounced around a little bit everywhere, but he's a great player. Benefield, the safety from Boise, is an elite player. I think a lot of people that think is going to be a really good player. You look at Eugene Wilson, the wide receiver coming in from Florida, as an explosive playmaker. TJ Daughtry, the linebacker that comes from Ole Miss. You've got the other pass rusher, Prince Will. How do you say his last name?
Mommy Ellen.
Mommy Ellen.
Your mommy Ellen.
Yeah, man.
Your mommy Ellen.
What a play. I mean, obviously, he led them in sacks.
The SEC.
The true prince of the SEC.
Prince
Jordan Ross is another
Ellen.
one, obviously, coming in from Tennessee. This pass rush, oh, my God. This pass rush is going to be scary next year. Now, it's, similar to what West Virginia is going through. When you bring in a larger class, the question is how do they all fit, obviously, and can you win in year one when you're kind of revamping a roster? When you got the kind of talent that is, that we just rattled off, any two of those would be like mind-blowing for West Virginia, So how are LSU fans feeling about this class?
I think LSU fans are feeling great about the class. I think some of them might be feeling a little bit too good about the class because, look, I won't take anything away from the class. I think you couldn't ask for a better class in your first year on campus if you're Lane Kiffin. But the reason I said that I think the fan base might think a little bit too much of it is because you're hearing a lot of playoff talk right now. You're hearing a lot of even championship talk. And it's not to say that it couldn't happen, but assembling a lot of players doesn't automatically make a great team. So I think I would advise fans to kind of be patient and understand that there's going to be some bumps in the road. You got a lot of change. You got a lot of new faces. But it's not a video game, just getting a bunch of 95, 99 players. It doesn't mean that you're going to be a championship team. And you also have some depth issues, which that's pretty much everybody now because you can't build depth the way you used to before the transfer portal. But the fan base is very excited about this class and for a good reason.
Jackson, you got anything on the recruiting or anything else?
Yeah, because honestly, I wanted to jump back to the point where it's like Ed Orgeron, had he been there at the start of the portal era, you'd have seen things blow up for LSU.
I think he'd have been good. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Because, on the one hand, it's, had LSU not fired Orgeron, thrown the baby out with the bathwater after this bad start of 2021, where it's just like, just give it at least another year for 2022. Then it's like 2022 would have been better. You wouldn't have been worse off with Brian Kelly. You wouldn't have been getting your eyes beat out. You wouldn't have been getting chewed up like a chicken nugget by Texas A&M on rivalry week. You wouldn't have been in a tight one against Arkansas in 2022. You wouldn't have come up short of playoff bursts. You wouldn't have been getting smacked off the face of the earth by Texas A&M in 2025 on ABC Saturday night. But on the other hand, the Brian Kelly era was a blessing in disguise because it brought back, because you got Lane Kiffin, but you also got Ed Orgeron coming back to Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And I was talking with a guy at the Voice College Football Network, Gabe, where I was like, I want to see if LSU can get a natty. Because, they can get in the playoffs with this staff. But I want to see if they can get a natty because, they can do it. But I'm curious to see if it can happen within, the next 4 years at the very least.
Lewis, what are the expectations for Sam Levitt in this? As somebody that's seen him up close and personal, as a West Virginia fan when he was at Arizona State, I can attest when he's completely healthy, I truly believe, I truly believe he's a first-round NFL talent. I think he's a vastly underrated player. You hardly ever hear him tossed around as the number one quarterback in the portal. He's one of the number ones, but there's a lot of people that would say that Brendan Sorsby's a better player or whatever. I never felt that way. I've always felt like Levitt was a better player than Sorsby, and it's not necessarily that close. He is an elite dual threat guy that's got a great arm, and you could just go turn on Arizona State 2 years ago, and that's what you're going to get. It's a really exciting player. What do you think the ceiling is for him? Could he have, I don't want to go too crazy here, but could he have a Joe Burrow type that's obviously crazy.
I like what you're
but
thinking,
like,
Paul.
but could he have a Joe Burrow type effect on the offense? Because he ain't going to be holding you back. I promise.
No, absolutely not. And for him, it's all about health right now. As far as what I expect out of Levitt, I think LSU hit the jackpot, and you're looking at the very least an upper echelon, all SEC level quarterback. At best, as you said, a first rounder, possibly your first quarterback taken. I'm glad you brought up the fact that you've seen a lot of them in the Big 12.
Yeah,
because I was impressed by what I saw from him in the playoffs a couple of years back.
Mm-hmm.
I understand that he missed a lot of time last year, but it was very impressive to see him carry his team against Texas like that. So of course, after he commits to LSU, I go and I look at more of his film, and I'm like, man, I was impressed by him, but I still didn't give him enough credit. The dude is good. Like, not only is he tough, a lot of quarterbacks get that kind of reputation. Oh, he's a tough guy. He can lead his team. Yeah, he's a leader and all that, but the dude is athletic as hell too. Like, he can run.
Very
like,
athletic.
escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. He is not just a guy that can buy time. Like, he can actually run, and he's accurate. He can make some off-platform throws. So there's a lot to like about him. I won't put anybody in that Joe Burrow stratosphere right now. But as far as taking a team and elevating the team, like being a truck and not a trailer, yeah, you got that with Levitt. Now, I'm just hoping that he stays healthy.
So, okay, well, what about if you're not Joe Burrow, what about a different Arizona State quarterback that transferred to LSU?
I'll take a Jaden Daniels type year. If I'm an LSU fan, I'll settle for a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Well, you guys have had really good luck with the transfer quarterbacks, man. Like, I was looking at that earlier today because I knew we were going to do this episode, and I was thinking, yeah, I remember because Herm Edwards, that situation blew up, and Jalen Daniels, here he comes, and now look what he became. Never would have saw him having that year with with Washington. So everything that's happened has been crazy. But yeah, definitely this pickup it's going to be interesting to see where Levitt falls on that spectrum, because obviously Burrow and Daniels were successful for kind of they're kind of separate in a different way. Obviously, Daniels didn't win at the level that Joe Burrow did. Also, Daniels was a 2-year guy there, and Burrow was a 1-year guy who had just immense success in 1 year. So it's like not 100% the same, but I think, Levitt's a guy that could possibly be that jet fuel, and it's going to be so interesting to see. And the thing is, if he isn't ready to go, the kid from USC, Longstreet, is another guy that is extremely talented, dual threat guy that can run around. So the offense isn't going to change a lot from one guy to the next. Not
at all. And on that note, he's and Landon Clark. I won't leave Landon Clark out of this, even though Longstreet, he absolutely won that backup job, but Landon Clark did show some improvement. But those guys are one of the reasons I'm expecting a lot more from LSU. I won't say a lot more. I'm more confident in LSU than I was going into the spring. Coming into the spring, you're like, man, it's just so much change. I can't have too high of an expectation for this team. I've never seen the team take on this much change. It's not just the coaching staff, but the complete offense, the whole offensive line, all your receiving core, everything was replaced. So I'm thinking it's going to be a bit of a learning curve there, and it still will be. But the way that offense improved over the course of the spring, look, I got all the confidence in the world with Blake Baker's defense. He's improved every year since he's been back at LSU, and now he's got more talent than he's ever had at LSU with that pass rush you just spoke about earlier. So when that offense came around, they started challenging the Blake Baker defense with backup quarterbacks. I'm like, man, this is the playoffs, are looking a whole lot more. I won't say it's a given, but it's looking more realistic. It's looking more like you don't need everything to go right. You got some real talent at the quarterback position. So if the offensive line is even somewhat improved from last year, which is hard not to be. That was the worst LSU offensive line I've seen in my life. Then you're looking at a definite playoff contender.
Real quick, Jackson, before you go, make sure you like and subscribe, guys. We got almost 100 people in here, which is great. First show back. Really excited about that. Lewis Johnson is a guy that covers LSU on the daily. Would be remiss if I didn't let everybody know where they can find you.
Oh yeah, man. On YouTube, LSU Tigers Live. This is on the Voice of College Football Network. You can find my writing on lastwordonsports.com or lastwordoncollegefootball.com. Follow me on TikTok and Twitter at CFBLou. And I appreciate you giving me a little time to plug myself.
Absolutely, no problem at all. We're obviously streaming on X and on YouTube here. If you're checking us out on YouTube, it's obviously College Sports Insiders. Just type that in, you'll find us. As well as I'm on X right now under at Paul Mountaineer. And I don't know if Jackson shared it out yet or not, but if so, it would also be on his.
I got it in the chat.
Okay. So we appreciate you guys for being here with us. I think we've covered pretty much everything. I guess, as far as LSU goes, I'll ask you to give me a couple predictions for this season. As far as give me a football, give me a basketball. Just jump right in there, man. Jackson, do you have anything else? By the way, I meant to ask you.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask about what's the record? What's the ceiling and the floor for where LSU is going to go for 2026? Like, what's your realistic record prediction?
All right, ceiling, and look, I guarantee you this is not a homer take, but the ceiling with the talent that LSU has acquired is 11-1. The floor is going to be lower than normal with a ceiling like that because of the change. I'm gonna say the floor is 8-4, and that's with a disaster. Everything just goes to what, and it's a complete disaster. 8-4. As far as what I would project a 10-2 record. You got some tough games early on with Clemson. Who knows what they're going to look like? But you got Ole Miss in week 3. So if you can survive that stretch 2-1, this team and specifically this offense to be coming into its own. And I think they're going to be a tough matchup with Lane Kiffin with that kind of weapons, those kind of weapons to work with. So I'll say 10-2, right in contention for a playoff spot for LSU.
Oh man, LSU's got to go medieval on Clemson on Saturday night for week 1.
Guys, thank you so much for being here with us. I've got to run. I've got a Big 12 squad show to do. I'm a little late for it. I got to run out of here. Jackson, if you don't have anything else, I'm going to go ahead and bounce out of here. Are you going to keep doing the show, or you want to go ahead and go?
Oh, we'll go ahead and go and tell your friends, family, and cashiers, pubs about the magic that's being made right here on College Sports Insiders.
Lewis, thank you for being here, guys. Make sure you go check out what he's got going on, and we will see you on the next one. We'll be back next time.